Alrighty. Hey everybody. Today, and yesterday was yesterday. Today is December. No, it's not. Today is January 12th. I'm a little tired. My brain is a little tired. But guess what? Today's day 245, which, if you totaled that up, this is my 8th month. I have got 8 months of hormones in me. And so I am 1 month away from 9 months, which probably doesn't matter much to anybody, but it does to me. And so, wahoo! This is like the 8th month video. Yay! Things have kind of slowed down in some regards, and then things have picked up in the other. This is as I make these videos unscripted, which I apologize for if I ramble at times, but at the same time, I think it gives a very authentic and genuine representation of what is going on with me here at month 8. So let's start off. This is my 8th month, and I have been full-time now for a little over 2 weeks. I went full-time like right at the end of Hail Mary Pass of 2016. So really, for all intents and purposes, I'm just going to say January is when I started going full-time. Unless it turns out that there's something to do with like me having surgery or something, or GCS, and I need another week, then I'm going to say, oh no, I transitioned full-time December 16th, I think technically was the date. It was the last day of my daughter's school break, because I kind of mentally made an agreement with myself that with the school and whatever, that my daughter's school, that the end of the start of winter break for Christmas and whatnot would be, that was the last day I was going to show up and whatever, mail drag. So really, I guess I've been full-time almost for, I guess, a month, really, 3 weeks. But it's interesting, and probably this will be the topic of the video today, is it's interesting in how people react. Like, probably a couple examples. At my work, for example, really great people at my work, and part of coming out or transitioning at work was a meeting. Directors knew. Everyone was given information, heads up. But what's happened is, in the 2 to 3 weeks since then, I have met people who are like 3 or 4 people removed from that director, ever widening concentric circles, people way out here, whereas people here got like the meeting, and then they told their people under them, and they told people under them, and then this person in the field got an email, maybe, I don't know. But it's interesting to even as recently as this morning, having a meeting with someone or a conversation with someone, and it's like they say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm just so proud of you, and you look really good, and whatever else, which of course in my own mind I'm like, keep lying to me. But anyway, so really interesting. And then not so much not limited to work, but also to other things. When I picked up my daughter today, she had a doctor's appointment, and I went to the school to check her out. And it was, again, the secretary of the school who said to me, I just want to verify with you, if you don't mind, and I apologize if this is a little forward. She says, but I just want to make sure, how can I address you? And what kind of pronouns would you like me to use? And I was just, I was kind of taken back. So again, 3 or 4 months ago, I sent a letter to the school board, to the superintendent, to the principal of the school, these people in the center. And then now I'm encountering in my travels these other folks on the satellite And again, it's just kind of interesting, and it's also very cool. And this kind of related is, people who I work with who now have kind of uh, have gotten over or gotten used to the female pronouns. And the other day, um, two people were talking behind me, and they were kind of making fun with me. But I mean, I had headphones on, I couldn't hear them in theory, and I could hear them say, "Oh yeah, we better not talk really loud, or Robin's gonna hear us." And they were using, she and her, and it's such a small thing to for someone to do. Is a small thing, it seems, to say to someone, I value you enough, or you're a human being, and I want to call you what you want to be called. And so I will make the effort to call you what you want to be called. Now, we can hope that as time goes on, and, the immediate circle of people that I'm around, in the example of like the school, for example, my daughter's school board or school, when my daughter goes to middle school in a year, I will go to the office to pick up my daughter, and I will be in a female mode all the time. You know what I mean? In other words, right now they've witnessed me go from point A to point B, and so they have that in their mind. Whereas at point C, they don't know I went from A to B. If that makes any sense. So we'll see. But again, I wanted to record it because it's happened more than once, obviously, and at different places, even places like the grocery store. I've shopped at the same grocery store for several years, and so the people in the deli, for example, I'm Mrs. Parks, I'm a ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Well, how can I help you, hon? That's what they say. You go to the drive-through, go to Checkers or Burger King or whatever, and it's ma'am and thank you, ma'am, and have a nice day. And did you get this woman's order? Yes, she gave me her order. All of these little things that just they confirm, they help to confirm things. Now, I don't base my happiness on that. I'm not going to be unhappy or upset if someone doesn't, but I'm kind of over this. My transition. I'm not gonna say my transition is over, but I'm over that initial hump. I'm over that initial. I'm at the point now where, when I go into a restaurant I've never been in before, or even one I have been in, I kind of expect to be Mrs. Parks and ma'am and whatnot. Even though my voice right now doesn't sound that way, but I've kind of not thought about my voice in a while, so that may be why I'm so happy. But that's where we're at 8 months. It seems like 9 months and a year are huge, huge milestones. Let me check my time. I don't want to go over. Okay, I'm not over yet. 9 months is a huge thing in people's timelines. I've noticed from very visual and very probably surface level as far as presentation and look, and your body's had 9 months to assimilate what it can, changes, and then those changes are just compounded over time. And by a year, again, I look at people, a year is an apple to an orange type thing. It's so different. And then you look at 2 years and you don't even, you go from an apple to an orange to a carrot, It's such a big progression. You just have to let it happen. And so, like I said, I realize certainly at 8 months, this is not over yet. Things are still in flux, and you could say that in life in general, things are always changing. But from a biological point of view, I'm looking at myself now, and yeah. And I don't necessarily know if there's something about. In previous video I talked about a threshold, which I do agree. Usually, some point between 5 and 9, you cross a threshold, and I believe the gestalt of everything you're doing, people begin to go, you look different. And so again, once you cross that threshold, it's just confirming it. You're digging yourself in further and whatnot. So I have a follow-up pretty soon, and we'll see about the last blood screening, what my testosterone count is, and we'll see if anything needs to be adjusted. Other changes, getting back to this blog, to a degree, I feel like a lot of the physical changes have kind of stopped. Breasts are not as sore as they used to be. But I have a feeling, again, it just takes time. It just takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. Mental changes, not quite there yet. I don't quite feel connected yet, if that makes sense. And I think the progesterone was going to help to address that. Now, granted, I've had a really rough work day, very, very busy. My brain is just shot. So I probably am going to seem more dour than usual. And that's not, my goal. But anyway, interesting. It's interesting to see people, when I joined the local support group, there were women who were years ahead of me and months ahead of me as far as presentation and the development, and I'm just looking to see who this is. All those things happened, and so I'm curious to see. I forgot my train of thought. Oh, go to the meeting, and you said someone who's been on hormones for a year or 6 months or whatnot. Again, I'm just looking. Okay. There's a package outside. Could be for me. Never know. So again, as I've gone along, the women who are 3 months ahead, 6 months ahead, a year ahead in hormones, they continue to look more feminine than I do. But I look at myself, and my body has changed to a certain degree, and I know that is going to continue to happen. There was someone who on their Facebook page, they posted a picture of themselves from like 3-4 years ago, and it's amazing. We can only knock on wood. We can only hope that we all have such a huge thing. We'll see. It's not over yet. What else is new? My divorce is finalized. Everything is moving forward there. Social Security number has been updated. My work has been given my new W-4, and now my email and everything is Miss, Ma'am. They can, in the system, they can do that now. Human resources and whatnot. So I don't necessarily know what that means as far as healthcare. I would assume it trickles down. But, yeah, Mrs., Ma'am, Mrs. Parks. It's really cool. Tomorrow I'm going to try again to do the driver's license. It didn't work out the other day because I didn't have the right paperwork. But I'm going to try again now that I have the right paperwork. So driver's license, gender marker change, and really just a new picture because I still have my old picture. And someone asked me the other day, can I see your ID or whatever? And I kind of hesitated because I'm like, that doesn't look like me and it doesn't represent me, and I don't want to be associated with that. Not that I'm ashamed of it, it's just that's not who I am. So on that note, all is okay, just one day at a time, and we'll go from there. So best wishes to you and yours, and we will get this thing uploaded, and we'll check